The Netherlands is often hailed as a progress, efficiency, and balance model. But beneath the polished image of windmills and tulip fields lies a story of political decisions that have left deep scars on the nation's economy, environment, and society. How did the Dutch government, known for its pragmatic policies, make choices that many say are destroying their country? Let's dive into the actions that have led to this predicament. The housing crisis. The Dutch housing crisis began with a growing population and a market unable to meet demand. The government's failure to invest in affordable housing and the slow pace of construction due to bureaucratic delays worsened the problem, particularly in cities like Amsterdam. Rent prices soared, forcing middle-class families out of urban centers, while home ownership became unattainable for many. Real estate speculators and private investors took advantage of the unregulated market, turning properties into profit-driven assets. As a result, housing insecurity has become a reality for many Dutch citizens, while corporations benefit from the rising property values. Agricultural reforms. The Netherlands, once a leader in agriculture, has seen its farming sector crippled by government environmental reforms aimed at reducing nitrogen emissions. While intended to address sustainability, these policies disproportionately impacted farmers, who were forced to sell their land or shut down operations. Protests erupted as regulations made farming unsustainable, leading to food production disruptions and higher consumer costs. Though well-meaning, the government's actions failed to balance environmental goals with the economic needs of farmers, creating long-term consequences for both the agricultural industry and national food security. Energy crisis. The Netherlands' push for renewable energy has encountered significant hurdles. Rapid closures of coal plants and a shift from natural gas led to an over-reliance on renewable sources like wind and solar, which could not meet national energy demands. This resulted in energy shortages, soaring electricity prices, and public dissatisfaction. Households now face higher bills, and businesses struggle with rising costs. The government's poorly managed transition has left many questioning the practicality of its green energy plan, as the lack of a balanced approach has created more challenges than it solves. Tax policies favoring multinationals. The Dutch government has long been known for its favorable tax policies for multinational corporations, making the country a haven for global companies seeking to lower their tax burden. While this has attracted foreign investment, it has come at the cost of widening wealth inequality. Large corporations pay minimal taxes, while small businesses and average citizens shoulder a heavier financial burden. This imbalance has led to increased public frustration, with many feeling that the government prioritizes corporate profits over the well-being of its people. The growing wealth gap is a source of social unrest, as everyday citizens struggle with rising living costs. Healthcare system struggles. The Dutch healthcare system, once considered one of the best in Europe, is now facing significant challenges. Underfunding, staff shortages, and growing wait times for patients are some of the most pressing issues. The government's handling of the healthcare crisis has been widely criticized, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, when hospitals were overwhelmed and the system's weaknesses were bare. The government's focus on cost-cutting measures and privatization has reduced access to care, particularly for vulnerable populations. Many healthcare professionals leave the industry due to burnout and inadequate pay, exacerbating the crisis. The lack of investment in healthcare has left the country unprepared for future health emergencies, raising concerns about the system's long-term sustainability. The education system. The Netherlands has long been known for its high-quality education system, but recent budget cuts and policy changes have put the future of Dutch students at risk. Overcrowded classrooms, underpaid teachers, and outdated curricula are just some problems plaguing the education system. The Dutch government's failure to adequately invest in education has led to a decline in academic performance and growing inequality among students. Wealthier families can afford private education, leaving lower-income students to struggle in underfunded public schools. This divide creates a generation of young people who are ill-prepared for the future, both academically and economically. Economic inequality. Economic inequality is becoming more pronounced in the Netherlands, despite the country's reputation for fairness and equality. The wealth gap between the rich and the poor is widening, and the middle class is shrinking. Government policies favoring big corporations and the wealthy have contributed to this growing disparity. Corporate tax breaks, deregulation, and lax policies on income redistribution have allowed the rich to accumulate more wealth. At the same time, the average Dutch citizen struggles with rising living costs and stagnant wages. This growing inequality has led to social unrest, with many feeling that the government has abandoned its commitment to social justice and economic fairness. Privatization of essential services. Over the years, the Dutch government has pursued privatization policies in essential sectors such as healthcare, education, and transportation. While the idea was to increase efficiency, there has been a decline in service quality. Hospitals are understaffed, with patients facing longer wait times for care, while the education system suffers from overcrowded classrooms and underpaid teachers. In transportation, delays and cancellations are becoming frequent due to underfunding. Privatization has led to profit-driven management in sectors that should prioritize public welfare, further eroding trust in the government's ability to manage critical services effectively. Overregulation of small businesses. In contrast to multinational corporations' benefits, small businesses in the Netherlands face heavy regulatory burdens. Small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, find thriving increasingly tricky, from excessive paperwork to complex tax requirements. The government's rigid policies have stifled innovation and growth among local entrepreneurs, limiting economic diversity. As a result, many SMEs either shut down or fail to reach their potential, leading to a concentration of economic power in the hands of large corporations. This overregulation hampers the entrepreneurial spirit that once thrived in the Netherlands, leaving the economy less resilient and diverse. Can the Netherlands recover from these self-inflicted wounds? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. Without a shift in governance and policy, the cracks in the system will continue to widen, leaving a country once praised for its pragmatism struggling to maintain its identity and stability. Thanks for watching. If you found this insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.